the NFL is setting a bad precedent as they decided to appeal the Deshaun Watson verdict handed by Judge Sue L. Robinson last week. Robinson said Watson should be suspended 6 games, to which an earlier report had said that if the NFL, if Watson was suspended for anywhere between 6 to 8 games, the NFL would not appeal. But they did, and are. An ex-New Jersey lawyer by the name of Peter C. Harvey, excuse me, I can't read my handwriting, is to hear the NFL's appeal. Now, the thing that depresses me about this is, and we'll talk about it more as we go along, but the NFL started this new system that they would have, the NFL and NFLPA jointly appointed a judge, Judge Sue L. Robinson, to hear cases. So, the suspension would not just be handed down immediately, like, okay, 5 games, when an act of violence or misconduct has been done. The fact is, Watson was suspended 6. The NFL wants more than that. Who's the person above Robinson? Goodell. Roger Goodell. Who has one blind spot in all this. He can't play judge, jury, and executioner anymore. He shouldn't be anyway. That's what the new CBA said, that they would jointly appoint a judge to hear these cases and come up with a verdict. But the NFL decided against that and now are appealing the case, which they're basically saying, or spitting in the face of the CBA, saying, you know what, we didn't like the verdict, we're going to do this. And my question is, so if they just don't get what they want every single time, are they just going to appeal every single time? If they want a 2-game suspension and the judge says no games, are they just going to appeal that and say, nope, 2 games? What is stopping them from doing that? What is stopping them? There's nothing stopping them from doing that. It's time for Goodell to stop wielding and saying, I'm the judge, I'm the jury, I'm the executioner, here's how it's going out, bang. Because then Watson, as much as I'm not saying Watson's in the wrong, not in the wrong, he is. But this is not the best way to do it. You're just setting a bad precedent by saying, you know what, the NFL, we're just going to agree with Judge Sue Robinson, which they should have. Because this was the first time they ever did this particular way, and now they're already saying, nope, we're not going to listen to what she says, we're doing what I want. What is the likelihood they don't do this again? It's very shocking. But then you go to all the suspensions that just happened, or happened a few years ago. Zeke Elliott. But he was suspended for 6 games, similar to Watson. One bad relationship to which when they had talked to his girlfriend about it, or ex-girlfriend, she had said the person who was talking to her, I believe it was a female lawyer, said no suspension, to which the NFL suspended him anyway. Something that happened to them when he was in college. He was like, I think, a sophomore in college. Brady was suspended for Deflategate, but if you put a ball outside in a freezing cold day, what do you expect is going to happen? So, what's the likelihood that those are just 2 cases of the NFL making the decision? Now we have Deshaun Watson, who the judge said, no, this is what he deserves. Now, it could be indefinite, and the Browns just wasted $230 million to do this. Now, according to an NFL report, Watson also nixed or balked, or whatever term you want to use. The NFL wanted to just suspend him for 12 games As a settlement, 12 games is a fine of anywhere between $8 and $10 million. But Watson nixed that. Moving on to more lighter of the word in the NFL, the Steelers signed Dante Johnson, 2 years, $36.7 million extension. Good contract for them. No worries about that. Kiko Alonzo signed a contract with the Steelers. The next day he decided to retire. A reunion very short-lived for Kiko Alonzo. Free agent tackle Dwayne Brown, 36-year-old, formerly of the Seattle Seahawks and Houston Texans, is visiting with the Jets. That's all we know about that at this time. Ravens rookie Tyler Linderbaum has had a reoccurrence, let's frank, injury. Not a rupture, a sprain out 1 to 2 weeks. And finally, a little bit of a recap between Jacksonville and the Raiders in the Hall of Fame game. The Jacksonville Jaguars in the Oakland / Las Vegas / whatever else name you can think of, that's pretty much what the Raiders are at this point. The Raiders beat living tar out of Jacksonville. Now, Jacksonville did not play Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, amongst others. But the concern was their defense, the Jaguar defense, did not look good. They didn't look good. In fact, I said it during the game. Within the early half of the second quarter, I had said, this is an NFL team being up on a high school JV team. This is just not even a high school team, a JV team. Like, they are just not good. And the Raiders just destroyed them with the running game of Josh Jacobs, Kenyon Drake, amongst others. Amir Abdullah. Like, it just showed if something happens, there's no one that you can say, oh yeah, he can go and play well. I'm concerned if I'm Jacksonville. But if you're the Raiders, you played great. But again, I don't know if it's because you played great or because you played a JV team that is now an NFL franchise.